Hi, my name is Allison Bradley, and I'm here to do a presentation for my business communication class. We were tasked to figure out a problem with a local business, and I chose JMAC Kids. So, JMAC Kids is a local daycare center over in Clearwater, Florida. JMAC is a certified daycare center. They offer preschool VPK, which is like a grade before kids go into kindergarten. They also offer an after school program, so where JMAC would go pick up the kids from school and bring them back to the daycare center. JMAC also offers numerous extracurricular activities such as baton, karate, uh, cooking, homework support, many other extracurricular activities are offered from JMAC so that they have parents have a really good option to bring their students to. One of the problems that we've seen at JMAC recently is that their overall student population is declining. So their attendance is declining on a year over year basis. We did an analysis between last year and this year to figure out what the attendance was for the previous year and to figure out what the attendance was this year. And there was a definite decline year over year. So we figured out that we needed to do some kind of polling with parents to figure out if they had any feedback for us. And one of the things that they mentioned was that we had no marketing. They never saw JMAC's names on anything. So, they would go to fairs or they would go to, outdoor activities in Pinellas County. And there were all of signs and stuff for other daycare centers, but JMAC never had any daycare center out there that showed that they do all these awesome things that a lot of other daycare centers don't do, like their extracurricular activities or picking up and dropping off before care, after care, along with summer school programs. So there were a lot of different things that parents mentioned, but marketing was really the biggest one. So we decided to do better marketing. So in order to do that, we came up with a couple different options, between school buses and flyers. We figured out that we really needed to jump on the marketing bandwagon and quickly so that we were able to get all of the interesting things that JMAC does out onto the market. So we did talk about other issues, potential issues that we might have at JMAC, such as the teacher, maybe they aren't, being that loving, caring, nurturing teacher that they needed to be for a daycare center, or could it be costs that are are showing or creating the decline in the overall business. So what we did is we called multiple daycare centers in the area to try to figure out what they were doing differently and what their costs were on a weekly basis and compared them to our costs. But there was not, the JMAC costs were actually less than the cost for the other daycare centers in the business. So we went through each alternative to try to figure out if, the teachers were, just a bad match for the students, or if the way they were teaching was wrong, or if the class sizes were too big or too small. So that, either the students were getting too much attention or not enough attention. But really it came back down to be one thing. And that's that we had terrible marketing. So JMAC doesn't have any marketing strategy at the moment. Nobody knows that they're there. They're in a small building, kind of tucked in the corner of a parking lot, more or less. But nobody really knows that they're out there. So minus school buses driving around to pick up students from school, there's not really any signage that would say, "Hey, we're a daycare center. Come see us." So we are going to do better marketing. The benefits for better marketing are, obviously to bring in more students. That would be the first and most obvious. We definitely want to bring in more students, but there are definite downstream impacts that are, will create better benefits as well. So if we bring in more students, we would have a higher cash flow, a better cash flow, and higher market percent as well. So that would create, a happier environment because everybody's a little bit happier when they have more cash in their pockets. So there were really the biggest benefit would be to bring in more students, but the downstream impact of bringing in more students created even better benefits. With any project, though, there are always risks. So a couple of our risks are the fact that what happens if marketing doesn't increase attendance? That means that there's another issue somewhere that we hasn't been discovered yet that marketing isn't going to fix, that we need to really look into further to see what the problem is. The other problem or potential risk is what happens if there's no return on investment for the marketing strategies that they're going to follow. So there are a couple of the strategies that would be a little bit more expensive, and with a declining environment at the moment, it's going to be difficult to spend a lot of money and not see a return on that investment. So that's obviously a risk as well. And then finally, what happens if we have too many kids? So while this may seem silly, and everybody would say, well, too many kids, that's great. You got to the other end of the spectrum here. The problem, though, is that what happens if we do end up with too many kids and then there's not enough space? We don't have enough teachers to accommodate that. You end up then with a backlog situation, and parents can get very angered and start talking say bad things about JMAC versus now they're not saying anything. You end up having teachers that now say bad things about JMAC versus we're trying to go in the opposite direction and say good things. So even though the risks are high, the benefits still outweigh the risks. So what are the recommendations moving forward are the following 5 things. We want to create flyers. People tend to have a better interaction and have a better memory when you have a face-to-face interaction versus sending home a piece of paper with a student. So we want to create flyers and go hand them out at events or at carnivals or at schools and hand them out to parents in a face-to-face manner so that we can really, really market JMAC and have that face-to-face interaction with parents. Secondly, we want to create a mass email distribution. So we could go talk to multiple businesses in the area that are professional marketing companies that would be able to give us a distribution list that had the exact that we were looking for. So, we want kids that, go to school in Pinellas County that are between the ages of 4 and 8. And then we could send emails to each one of those, each of those schemas to you just let them know, hey, we have coupons going on, or there's deals, or there's a Groupon out there, whatever the best way to bring them in would be. But to be able to get that email distribution list would be a huge potential. Next is promoting the website. So they have a really awesome website that they just created not that long ago, but nobody knows about it at the moment. So we need to get the website out there because it has all kinds of information on it. Next, we would create a packet for walk-ins. So at the moment, there are anywhere between 4 to 9 walk-ins that happen per week. But because of the way the center is structured at the moment, there's not really anybody to give a good tour to the walk-ins. So if we could create a packet for the walk-ins anytime that they come in that has all the pertinent information needed about JMAC, then we potentially have a better situation with saying, here's all I apologize that we can't meet with you at the moment, but here's all the information about JMAC. Please read through it and let's schedule a tour next week so you can come see the business. So that would be very helpful, I think. Again, gives that person that face-to-face interaction, even if it's short, but gives them still an opportunity to meet somebody. And then finally, and this is the expensive option we were talking about, is to take the school buses and wrap them or in vinyl or paint them bright, funny colors, but to have something that really makes the buses stand out. So they're not just every other yellow school bus on the road. So right now, everybody uses a big yellow school bus to transport kids around, but what if what if my school bus wasn't yellow and it was green or pink or blue? People would look at it and try to figure out, well, what is that for? Why are these buses blue? Well, maybe I need to send my kid there because they have different color buses. I mean, something that just is an eye-catching difference between them and everybody else on the road. So those are my recommendations for JMAC. I really enjoyed this project because I think it's going to help my parents with the business overall, and I think that it's really going to be a good cause. I talked to Mom this morning, and she is already working on implementing a couple of these things. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Thanks.